The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Hey there, it's Tony here and welcome to episode 105 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today is part 2 of Fighting Failure.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul, I see you. All right, Charlie. Finish on. Coach Curl. Great job, guys.
Coach Curl, we love you!
Hey there, it's Tony here and welcome to episode 105 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today is the second and final part of Fighting Failure. And as we know, we're firing up in February. We're doing that over at the Coach Curl Academy in our Facebook group. So if you're interested in learning more about getting those dreams that you set aside for 2019 back on track, pop on over and join the group over there at Facebook. All you have to do is go to your Facebook, do a quick search for the Coach Curl Academy and put in a request to join. I'd love to see you over there. And we've been talking about failure and fighting February failure over there in the group. And we've got some really good, strong momentum. And we just really want people to be able to make 2019 more of a year than what they originally envisaged and what they've achieved in the past. So let's do it. Let's get over there and let's do it. Now, last week I shared some of the concepts around failure. You know, we talked about failing fast. We talked about failing forward. We talked about that concept of trying not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And in many cases, the way that we handle our losses really sets us up for success or consistency or persistency in trying to achieve what it is. Many people just drop the bundle after they've had a loss or a series of losses, while other people can be galvanized by that, can be galvanized by those losses. So it's the way that we handle those losses that sets us up for success. Now, we all feel a loss. We do. And sometimes when we have that series of losses, sometimes we just may not want to play the game anymore. And that's always a shame because we end up losing a great player, which is you, which is potentially you. You know, to succeed, we have to keep playing. We can't win if we're on the sidelines. So I've never seen a person yet take their bat and ball and go home and still win. If you're not playing, you can't expect to win. And we need to be able to shift our mindset if we do suffer a series of losses. It's what we have to do because losses can certainly affect us. You know, potentially what we start doing is, I've seen people rationalize losses and lose perspective. And we start telling ourselves that maybe it's not as important as what we thought it was. And deep down we're hurting, but we don't want to hurt anymore. So we start to rationalize our perspective and start to tell ourselves that it wasn't really important in the first place because it's almost like we've given up. We also see people out there who don't start until they think they've got everything perfect. And even then when they're close to perfect, they'll continue to question themselves on the quest. Hopefully to try and find that, they're hoping to try and find that perfect solution. So sometimes when we lose, we really overemphasize the fact that we want to make everything perfect before we're willing to have a crack. You know, at other times, and I can certainly say this is, I've suffered from this in the past, absolutely. At other times, we've expected it to be easier than what we thought it was, what it ultimately was. We expected it to be easier than what it ultimately was. And as our losses mount, because when we expect it to be easy, I'm not sure if we put in the greatest effort that we could. So often when we expect it to be easier than what it is, when we expect it to be easier than what it is, we're not putting in our maximum effort, and we're probably more likely to lose. So the difficulties in staying in the game increase when we're in that mindset. So, anything worthwhile is not easy. We know that. The best things that we have in life, we've worked for. Whether it's your partner, whether it's your career, whether it's your business, whether it's the success that you've had when you've written a book. Everything in your life that is worthwhile has come from hard work. And you know that. So it's not meant to be easy. The other thing that, one of the other things that I see happen, unfortunately, with people is that we start looking and questioning why others are more successful than us. And this concept of fairness starts to play with our mindset. We start thinking that maybe others are getting an easier run. And when we see that, we start to question, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it the hard way when they seem to be just getting the run through? Now, I'm not here to say that others don't get the run through. I've seen it happen in careers. I've seen people given like a smooth run. And yes, you've got to question the fairness, but that shouldn't call into play the dream that you're attempting to do. Absolutely not. It should never call that into play. So just because someone's getting a dream run or a smooth run or seeming to get a smooth run doesn't mean that stops us. Absolutely not. I've mentioned this saying. It's one of my most favourite sayings, because too often we worry about what other people think. And the saying that I was just that I'll share is, you can't lead a cavalry if you think you look stupid on a horse. And how true is that? Who cares what other people think? Maraboli talks about, the difference between success and delusional is at which stage of the journey. So at the end of the journey, when he's produced a book or done a fantastic keynote, people will say he's successful. But at the beginning of the journey, when he was handing out those A5 pamphlets at New York railway stations, delusional. So there's a difference in the timeline. So who cares what others think? But sometimes we do, and that stops us, and that's the way we react to losses. We get tired of losing. We get sick of being seen by others as a loser, and it stops us. It stops us in our tracks, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And because of that, often our self-esteem itself takes a battering. It takes a hit, and we start thinking of ourselves as a failure, and that's disappointing. That's really, really disappointing. So the most important person that you ever talk to is you. Okay, that's pretty cool, isn't it? The most important person you will ever talk to is you. So make sure that you're saying the right things that keep you going, that keep encouraging you, that keep you on track, keep you focused. And that way, at least your self-talk isn't being called into question. The reality is that losses will have an impact, but it's the way that we talk to ourselves that keeps us on top. And we have to be able to identify with where we're going and the success that we're going to have. So I really want you to really think about that. Really, really think about that. Tomorrow is just another day, but every day we should be waking up and we should be galvanized by our quest in whatever it is that we're chasing. And that's the mindset that we should be telling ourselves. And finally, when it comes to this concept of failure, one of the really key things here that I really want you to think about is to sit down and take some time and understand the reasons why you've failed, you've stumbled, you've fallen in the past. Now, I'm not saying beat yourself up. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying become aware of the reasons behind your failure. Now, when I do a 4 Pillars of Success workshop around goal setting, the final pillar is clarity. How do you keep that goal in front of you at all times? How do you keep it clear? And how do you stop yourself getting distracted? But the other point of clarity is understanding what has stopped you in the past. And then putting in strategies that help you win with that knowledge. So if whatever that has stopped you in the past, people will stop because of something someone says. You know, people will stop for a variety of reasons. You know, they may have hit that obstacle that we talked about last week. Someone may have said something. So they may have perceived that someone was laughing at them. They may have taken a hit in respect of someone saying no who should have said yes. There's a multitude of reasons why we stop. But understanding that and creating a strategy that galvanizes your mindset is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So that, if it happens again, you got a strategy to be able to map your way around. So what I want to do from here on in, we're going to start talking about dreams. For the month of February, we've discussed failure. We've done our last 2 shows around failure. We want to start talking about dreams and how we're going to make them real. I really want to give you some hope and encouragement that 2019 can certainly be the year for you. And if you need someone just to tell you good things, that's going to be me. All right, so next week we're going to start talking about our dreams. I really hope that you've enjoyed the last 2 episodes around failure. We all hate failure. I know that. I hate it. It's part of the journey, and when we can accept that, we can start to strategize to make sure that we learn from it, and that we learn quickly, and we learn with the responsibility that we need. Hey, big shout out to Think and Grow Business. They've just completed a revamp of the website. I think it looks fantastic. So you should check it out. It's thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au. Creating valued leaders, building valuable organizations. What a nice little catch cry that is. And of course, they still haven't lost sight of the fact that they're improving the performance of people in business. So check them out. And a big thank you to the team at Think and Grow Business. Don't forget, I've got a book out there. It's called Seriously Simple Stuff to Get You Unstuck. I've started work on my second book, and it will be out in 2019. We've got a deadline in mind. It's September 2019. We want to get this book out. So keep your eye out for that. I'll keep you abreast of how that's going, of course. But in the meantime, Seriously Simple Stuff to Get You Unstuck is out there. It is out there. It's available at any good online retailer, or you can go to tonycurl.com.au, and 20% of those proceeds, of course, go to the fabulous people at Carter's Cause, doing some great work raising funds and support and awareness for the team at Heart Kids Australia. So, don't forget the golden rule. You know what it is. Now, I want you to be standing at the end of 2019 stronger, braver, and wiser. Don't forget the golden rule. Just don't be an arsehole. I'll see you next week.